fisherman. He's a fisherman on the Sea of Galilee. There's a lot of them. Little poor fishermen making their way, catching fish. Jesus saw the rock, the Peter, the man upon which he was going to build this church. He was going to be the disciple that would preach on Pentecost and lead 3,000 men, women, and children to the Lord right there. He was Peter. He was going to die in a Roman Colosseum. He was going to found the church, and he was Peter. But Simon only saw his fishing boat and his nets, and to Simon he was Simon. Jesus sees potential in you that you don't see. We can't look at ourselves through the eyes of Christ. I would love to know what God really thinks about me. I know he loves me. I know he does. But he sees something that he has planned for me that is beyond the scope of what I can see. Peter thought of himself as a fisherman on the Sea of Galilee. Jesus thought of Simon as a man who was going to change the world. That's how Jesus sees you. He sees you with a call in your life. He sees you with abilities and talents that you could not recognize in yourself right now. If you told Simon that he was going to preach or stand before the Sanhedrin and tell them that he was not listening to man, he would only listen to God, he never would have believed you. Never. He was an uneducated fisherman. Jesus saw so much more and so much significance in this man's life. He saw the leader of his church. What does Jesus see in you? Keep looking at the story with me. Verse 4. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out in the deep water and let down your nets for a catch." And Simon answered and said, "Master, we have worked hard all night and caught nothing. But I will do as you say." Simon is tired. He's been fishing all night. You don't fish when the sun is up. I know this from my grandpa. You fish when it's cool. They were professional fishermen. You fish at night. They didn't catch anything at night. If they go back out now at 11 o'clock, it's only hot. The fish are sleeping. They're not going to get in the net. Peter knew this. He was tired. He knew that it wasn't any good. But he used the word master. That means chief or commander. It was a recognition of authority. You see, the fact that it was 11 o'clock, and the fact that the sun was up, and the fact that it was warm, and the fact that you don't catch fish at that time, those were all just circumstances. They're just circumstances. To us, they're obstacles. To Jesus, they're just things. They're just facts. They're not obstacles to God. Sometimes I think we go to God and we say, okay, here's my problem, here's my issue, and here's all the reasons why nothing's going to work, don't we? We have worked everything out so we know all of the reasons why nothing's going to work, why we can't change our situation. To Jesus, those are just facts. They're just facts. The facts were that it was the wrong time of day to fish, that they had been out all night and that they had caught nothing and they were tired. Those are all facts. So Peter says, okay, I recognize your authority. I don't necessarily like any of this, but I recognize your authority. Have you ever done something just because you had to? How many of you, all the time, right? How many of you parents have ever said to your children, "Because I said so"? I swore I was never. My mom said that to me all the time, and I was determined that my lips would never speak the words "because I said so" to my children. Well, I had 4 kids. I probably said it 4 million times. I know. Because I said so. It's a good answer sometimes. Sometimes we just have to do what somebody tells us to do, whether it seems absolutely stupid or not. That's where Peter was. All right, okay. You want me to go back on that boat? All right. You are authority. I will do it. Okay. So he says, all right, men, let's go. Get the nets, put them back in the boat. We're going back out. We know he had to be going. Okay, really? The man is a preacher. What does he know about fishing? Okay, I'm sure that was going through his mind as he headed out in that boat. But he did it. He did it. Then we pick up in verse 6. When they had done this, quantity of fish, and their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat. See, only one boat went out. It was the wrong time for fish. Everybody didn't have to go. If Jesus said go, okay, we'll go, but only one boat went, okay? Well, they had to call for another boat. They signaled their partners in the other boat and asked them to come and help them. And they came and they filled both of the boats so that they began to sink. But when Simon Peter saw that, he fell down at Jesus' feet, saying, "Go away from me, Lord. Go away from me. I am a sinful man, oh Lord." For amazement had seized him and all his companions because of the catch of fish which they had taken. And also with them were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. And Jesus said to Simon, "Do not fear. From now on you will be catching men." I want you to stand there with me for a minute. I want you to forget where we are right now, and I want you to take a little trip with me onto a boat on the Sea of Galilee. I want you to feel the sun and smell the fish, and you're on a boat, and feel the waves with me. Stand there on that boat, and there you are. And there are men, and they are yelling all around you. This is more fish than two boats can hold. Remember, they had been out all night, caught not a fish. And now they have more fish than two boats can hold. And imagine fishermen, and there's nets, and they're full of fish. And you can see all these fish, and they're straining, and they're pulling these fish into the boat, and they're slopping all over the deck. And there's fish, little floppy fish, every place. And they're flapping around, and people are yelling, and they're calling for the other boat, "Get over here." And over come James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who we know well as disciples of Jesus Christ. And they come over with their boat, and they throw these nets, and they're filling up that boat too, and there's all this noise and confusion, and the smell of fish, and the waves in the sea, and all of this is happening. And there's Peter, Simon, this fisherman. And Simon looks up from this mess of fish all around his feet, and he looks up into the eyes of Jesus. And he sinks to his knees, fish all around him, fish everywhere, and confusion and noise and waves on his boat. And he looks into the eyes of this man and he says, "Go away from me. You are God." See, for the first time he saw Jesus for who Jesus really is. He's God. And it wasn't just some master on the boat that told him to go fish. It was God standing on his boat. And he looked into those eyes and he said, "Go away from me, I am a sinful man." See, when we look in the eyes of God for the first time, we see how holy he is and how holy we are not. We can see our flaw. We are flawed people, are we not? And sometimes I think, how can God possibly use me or love me? I know me. I look in the mirror every day and I know me. I know the attitudes that I have that are not good and the things that I've done that are not good. And I can tell you bad about me. I can tell you bad about me for a long time. And when you look in those eyes of Jesus and you think, "Woe is me, I am undone. Just go away from me. Lord, God is too big and he's too much." Well, the story doesn't end there. Nobody's story has to end there. Because in the middle of the fish and the confusion and the people yelling and Peter with all of that fading away from him, and it's just him and Jesus and those eyes are staring at you. In the middle of that, a hand reached out. A hand reached out, and it was the hand of God. It was Jesus reaching out to him. And he says, "Oh, Simon, it's all right. You're a fish for men. Wait till you see what I'm going to do